Earlier today, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary for the White House, who has no business being in there, with a cross on her body that I'm pretty sure is burning her skin after what she has said. She made a complete fool of herself earlier today when she was asked to provide evidence of Elon Musk's attacks on our government, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then I have a great clip from Robert Garcia, congressman from California, saying exactly what Elon Musk is. I'm going to explain to you why that moment is so important. It's funny, but it's also important. When pressed to show that Elon Musk is actually finding fraud, here's what she had to say.
Doge and the fraud claims. Elon Musk in the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material evidence of what he's talking about?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers. He was speaking in layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home. But I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what Doge is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have.
They're transparent because they have a Twitter account. My God. And may I just point out that what Elon Musk is doing is he's going through mountains and mountains and mountains of data, and he's picking things that are fodder for the right-wing media ecosystem so that they can complain about, I don't even know, like LGBTQ plus work in, I don't know, like some random African country, or, you know, providing shelter for migrants in New York. I don't know, but they're just picking small things that are catnip for Republicans to yell about that aren't actually fraud. And I have to say that again, it's not actually fraud, because here is what the press secretary thinks fraud is. And then I'm going to explain to you what fraud is.
As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that Doge found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that Doge identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one, $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing.
57, I mean, that is, we have a $9 trillion budget? $9 trillion. Imagine if you had $9,000 and you're worried about a quarter of a penny. I mean, it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of our budget, $57,000. What does that $57,000 do for America if we're helping climate change in Sri Lanka with $57,000? It might make the residents of Sri Lanka more, I don't know, happy about Americans. I don't think they understand that a lot of people in a lot of countries don't have a great opinion of America. And so it is in our interest to do things we can to make the lives of other countries better, because it helps keep us safer, and it also helps keep our interests here and abroad more likely to be supported by the world writ large. And that is not fraud, what she just said. That is not fraud. Fraud means that it's going for, they're spending money. They said they're spending it for climate change in Sri Lanka, but it's actually going straight to someone here, or it's going to someone there, and it's not being used for what was intended for it. If Donald Trump doesn't like that money is being spent that way, Donald Trump has to pass a law. Congress has to pass a new budget, and they can figure it out. But that is not fraud. She is an idiot. That is not fraud. And here is where I knew that we are just in a totally different universe now, because as you may know, they renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and they stopped an AP reporter from being able to take meetings at the White House because they will not say the Gulf of America. And here's how she responded to that.
Retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the
It's just so funny to me that this White House that thinks that there's only male and female and you can't change it. You know, if you are born a woman, you can't become a man, and they refuse to call, the new Congresswoman who is here, who's trans, they refuse to call her by her preferred gender and name, but they draw the line at a body of water. A body of water. If you don't say Gulf of America and you are the Associated Press, then you're not allowed in the briefing room. It's insane to me. It's insane. Here is Congressman Garcia. Just watch this, and then it's so good. And then I'm going to explain why I love it.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean,
yes. So here's why I love that, because there's absolutely no way, maybe Robert Garcia would have gone on, but there's absolutely no way that they would be talking about his perspective if he didn't say something that was going to get attention. So yeah, call him a dick, because you know what? After she said, is it okay to call Elon a dick when the government blah, 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 blah. So she then put in the problem into his statement. So I love that he did that, that we need more of that. We need more of that, because Democrats, we have got to fight. We've got to fight. These are not smart people. These are not smart people. So we can outwit them, but we have to be fighting.